We are Nigerians. We are one people. God made us united in our diversity. We have one history. We have one destiny. We are Nigerians. Let's rise and build. We have a vision with hope of what can be. Our dreams are lofty, great. Yes, we can do what's right and walk in love's just ways. We are Nigerians. Let's rise and build. We are Nigerians. We are one people. God made us united in our diversity. We have one history. We have one destiny. We are Nigerians. Let's rise and build. We've had our bitter taste of hate and bitterness. We've danced in agony to drums of war. But now we see the light. Let tribe and tongue unite. We are Nigerians. Let's rise and build. We are Nigerians. We are one people. God made us united in our diversity. We have one history. We have one destiny. We are Nigerians. Let's rise and build.
We are Nigerians, though of many tribes, and each with a different tongue. We stand united in our resolve to build, to defend, and to honor our great nation. We are a great people, from the beautiful grasslands and savanna to our rich rainforest, in a land flowing with oil and gold. Hear the clatter of groundnuts, hear the whispering palms, see the towering cocoa trees. We are Nigerians.
We are Nigeria. We are one people. In our diversity. We have one history. We have one destiny. We are Nigerians. Let's rise and build. We are Nigerians. We are one people. So
Good morning, viewers. You're welcome to the River State Dialogue. As the song goes, that we are Nigerians. God made us united in our diversity, and that's the beauty of diverse culture. In our diversity, we have strength. You're welcome. This is the weekly program where we sensitize, enlighten, reorientate, and enlighten the people on government policies, program, and activities. In doing that, we consciously give a feedback to government so that government can properly fine-tune those policies and activities to properly suit the people. In the wake of the month, the elections were on us. On the 25th of February, and the national election came and gone. Though the election is gone, but the sights and sounds are still with us. And the governorship and the state constituency election was to come up on the 11th, but due to some unavoidable circumstances, it was shifted to 18th of March. And that election, as we speak, has come and gone. But the relics, the signs, the sounds are still living with us today. Viewers, today we'll be discussing the topic, 18th March general election, a post-mortem. Post-mortem. I know that word is usually associated with, when you talk of post-mortem, you're talking of dead body, post-mortem examination, after this person is dead. But this one, the election did not die, the election has come and gone. And so we want to look at the post-mortem of the election. Viewers, to discuss with me today in this studio, I have on my immediate left is Honorable ERNEST ROWLAND-DOUGLAS, Career Guidance and Counseling, Diplomat, Liberia. Sir, once again to have you in the studios. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you and good morning, viewers.
And just immediately after him, I have another amiable gentleman whose face is synonymous to this studio here. So the new person is not that person that Frank ENE-AWAJI. It will interest you to know that he's a public policy analyst. You're welcome once again to the
Thank you very much.
And just beside him, on my far left, I have, an army man, so to speak, Comrade SAVIOUR IMEABA. It might interest you to know that SAVIOUR is the Executive Director of OGONI Youth Development Initiative. Sir, we're glad to have you in the studios this morning.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Viewers, you can keep your comments coming. The reason why we're doing this is because of you, because we know that you're right there listening to us to make your contributions and also to enlighten you, to bring you up to speed, for us to dissect. The election has come and gone. Let us view it, let us dissect it together. My name is Abiy Senemo. I'm your anchor person for today in the River State Dialogue. Now we are going to start on this note. Let's just start on this note. Let me start with you, Sir Ernest. Was the 18th March general election anything different from that of the 25th election, sir? So, if yes, what are your thoughts? And if
The 18th March governorship, the response time of INEC, and
that's talking about
positive that I can give to that election of the 18th. But the rest was a huge embarrassment. I call it huge embarrassment because we thought, having had that 25th February elections, that there would have been lessons learned. But of complicit activities between the political parties, the security, and as well as INEC itself. I mean, you see brazen impunity of individuals who, it's part of the curfew that is being imposed. Such things. Carnival bosses intimidating people. I mean, I must say it's quite embarrassing, and I think
wise man will say, if you put 6 here and I stay on the other side and look at it, it is 9. And I'm seeing 6 here. So perspective matters. So in other words, can we say there was any difference between the presidential election, so to speak, and the governorship elections?
Well, when he was talking, I was nodding my head.
The only difference was the timely arrival of electoral materials. I monitored the election as a reporter. I moved around and I was also in the studio for situational reportage.
Yeah.
Like he has said, it is an embarrassment to the nation called Nigeria. In a civilized society, any chairman and all the rec in all the districts supposed to have resigned. In a civilized society, that's I have told Nigeria that we are not civilized. We are educated. We are lettered. You can read and write and speak dog-breaking words. But civilization is far. It will take maybe from what I've seen during the 18th March election. It will take maybe 52 strong enlightenment as we are doing now for us to correct this animalistic behavior we are seeing in Nigeria. But ordinarily, I think 2019 we talk about card reader as to modify our election. And we spend good billions of naira to import what is not in Nigerian technology. I mean the beavers. I listened to INEC chairman, I pretty much on that beavers. Another chairman said it was caged and captioned game changer. But let me tell you for free, I will not blame this by the same umpire. What else you want me to say? I will not blame politicians anywhere. Politicians will not also manipulate. From the presidential election, 18th election that I remember about the weekend. Because if INEC has followed the law, also cancel the election. You can also speak out, but INEC will tell us, go to court. Court for what? Court that also is being manipulated by the also judiciary, the judges and the justices against the will and wishes of Nigerians. For me, the election, like he has said, let me have an attitude. There was also voter apathy. So for me, election of 18, INEC in a way rubbish the entire.
Let's hear your own perspective.
Thank you very much. When you were actually trying to start up, I would have asked you to withdraw that statement that the election has come and gone. Because when you go, nothing happened again. As I told me this morning, because I did a press briefing and condemned the process more. But I think it's not necessary. Don't you think? Is it an NGO or a youth organization that can change the system? The team come out and congratulate has come to the worst stage of life, and the generation yet unborn is yet to actually understand where Nigeria is going. Unfortunately, we have a system that is corrupt, and the same set of people that are corrupting the system train their children abroad. I have an elderly man in my tribe. They were born and brought up outside Nigeria, and there was a particular paid a visit to Nigeria or Ogoni land. And what did it answer me? Nigeria, knowing things are not working, and I won't want my children to get full up with such a mentality. And I imagine me, that was the same person that become a senator in Nigeria, this same person that become a House of Rep member in Nigeria. But at the same time, you cannot build or contribute positively to Nigeria so that Nigeria can be great. In INEC office was complaining that they cannot go to the polling unit. And the reason why they can't go is because, one, the beavers were not functioning. There was no SIM card. INEC has deliberately removed the SIM from the beavers. And that INEC deliberately has also removed the attached power bank that was meant for the beavers. For that reason, that their life is very important, considering the tantrums that have been coming from both the Governor of Wike of Rivers State and the opposition parties, that they don't want to risk their life. For that reason, they were not going. They sent this information to us that were at the gate. Immediately we got the information. Of course, you know how that kind of information will trigger anger. So a lot of us was very angry. We led a very serious agitation. While we were trying to agitate to ensure that those systems is corrected before materials can be distributed to different units. What happened was that the local government chairman of my local government, Honorable Thomas Baikere, who is the current local government chairman of Ghana, immediately came with attached enough security personnel, came with attached enough thugs that was on parade with him, moving straight with one force as if we were going to a war front. And was moving majestically towards the INEC office. We were there. Of course, he doesn't have any good relationship with me because I do not compromise when I want to talk about things that concerns him that he's doing bad. So for that reason, I'm not in his good book. So when he was coming, I knew this man was not coming for anything good. So he tried to tell those boys that was with us that those ones are on the same page with him to please, with signal, with his eye signal, he gave them to leave this place. Meanwhile, I never knew that he came with an evil intention. He started asking them to leave. Those of us that are not in good book with him were just quiet, watching at the outcome of his action. What he did was that he just went straight, penetrated the crowd, went towards the INEC gate, and immediately direct the military that was there, the army and the police that was there, to chase us away from that place. And everybody should be chased out of the INEC office. All the crowd that was there. Immediately we noticed he has given that directive. The military did not hesitate to immediately embark or take his action. The military immediately embarked on the action and the directive and started holding the rifle, waving the gun towards our direction. They were not even trying to threaten us. No, they were not in need for threat. They needed to give us a very serious action so that we can understand that they are not joking with us. So what they did was that they faced us directly in boring. I'm saying this in boring. They faced us directly with the gun and was moving towards us directly. And of course, some people that want to protect their life or spare their life for the next day started running helter-skelter. We that was also ready to see what will be the outcome of what they were doing. We are still at the front to ensure we can get a result. But unfortunately, since the people we are actually working with have ran and left us, we have no option than to actually disembark from the environment. Now, it did not stop at that. When we get to our various rack centers for materials to be distributed to different polling units, that same situation was addressed. And then in our community level, we noticed that the PDP stakeholders that was benefiting from a corrupt system were in support of whichever wrongs and whatever that was going on. It was not against any of it. We were supporting it, following it, and even was giving us directive that if we do not follow, that we will not get the next line of action positively. And it was obvious because they were prepared. All around them was talks. All around them were people with different kind of barrettes. All around them were security agencies attached to them. And the security agencies were just waiting for their directive. The talks were waiting for their directive. And we were not with rifle, we were not talks. So the talks were just waiting for them to say, you are wasting time. When it is time for the election, we are going to the unit and you can't stop us. It's better you stay away from the result. Well, I kept quiet because I needed to see the result. We tried to stop the process. Unfortunately, I won't lie, we couldn't stop the process. Materials were taken to polling. When the materials were, I am of Unit 21, Ward 15 in Ghana local government. When the materials were taken to the polling unit, when we got to the polling unit, I discovered that the PO that was there was complaining, seriously, bitterly complaining that the beavers were not functioning. Unfortunately, the result sheet were photocopied result sheets. That is the worst of it all. The result sheet were photocopied and all the materials were just fake. Ballot paper meant for Ghana, for a good local government, being used in Ghana. And the whole process was just so disappointing and disheartening. What we do, we now called the young man that was there. What do you intend doing? They said at this point they don't know what to do, but they are ready for the election. Meanwhile, there is no accreditation because the beavers did not give way for accreditation. So everything was just shut down. And people, our mothers in the village that do not understand what was going on, we are lined up ready to vote. So at the point, we have no option than to invite the presence of security, the army, through the help of someone. We called the army to come. The army came, and the process wasn't actually good. And then asked us, what do we want? At that point, I stood up and said, with this situation, I don't think we can conduct election here because election can be free and fair when the process are intact. In a situation where the process are not intact, then it is said not to be free and fair. So at this point, that we suggest that this material should relocate back to INEC. That's exactly what the army said, let's do. The army did that, relocate all the materials back to INEC office. But you know the funniest part? Behold, there was a result, even more than the result that we actually have. Behold, there was a result. It didn't stop at that. Ward 6 in Kami, the same thing happened in Ward 6.
Comrade, I'm afraid I'm going to stop you at this point. Let's. You have made the point. You have made the point. It's obvious. You have made the point. ENE-AWAJI, let me take you on this. You know, the governorship and the House of Turnout. What, in your opinion, is responsible? I know that a lot of us are first looking at, carryover anger from presidential election and all of that. But I just want you to look in that light, and also in the light of, voter oppression, threats, insurrection, and all of that.
I want to say that what actually led to the voters' apathy on the 18th was what happened on the presidential election. Not just on the day of the election, because there was a massive crowd where I monitored and reported. Presidential election, there was no iota, there could be pocket of little violence, but not what I would say on the
not pronounced
massive level. Yeah. So people came out, even in Port Harcourt here. In the village, people came out. But people thought, with the way, even me too, because I am a crusader of doing things the right way. And we were also to talk to Nigerians that look from the angle of INEC and the way they were also told us that, look, this election will not be like the ones done in 2015, 2019. That with the introduction of beavers, electoral malpractice will be reduced. And there will be no even room for snatching of ballot paper. Or even if you snatch it, it will be of non-effect or no use for such a crime. And so people came out in large number, and there was expectation also, and people voted. But what actually triggered this? What happened on the 18th was that the result that people were expecting. Based on, because in each polling unit, people came out and also voted. They said from what out that they will not come out. And we're still begging, let's come out. So on the 18th of March, there was a kind of total absence of people. Electorate, because on the 18th, though electoral materials came late, but people were on ground, the electors were on ground, ready to vote. It's even in Port Harcourt here, some places and some polling people came by, electoral materials came by 11, 12, but people were on ground, ready to vote. And again, like this, my brother said, on the 18th, before 8, which I also observed, because I was also on air talking and going around. Before 8, there were electoral materials and there were adult officials on ground, but there was nobody. There was a separate, there was nobody. So the fear was that their vote would not count. That's what they told us.
Yeah, apart from that, don't you think that the threat, there are some persons, I won't mention names. Sure. I hear that some political parties were going house to house, taking down players and saying, if you're not going to vote for a particular party, you don't bother come. Don't come. Also, anything happen to you. Don't you think that also contributed to their apathy? Because some were afraid of their lives.
I agree with you, because, like I say, we are living at the mercy of criminals in this country, both in the southwest, northeast. We are living at the mercy of criminals, so you can be killed. Life is sacrosanct. In Nigeria, there's no value of life. That's why you can hear that on the day of election, some people were shot dead. There was no arrest. Till today. So if somebody tells you that if you come to vote, you'll be killed, your hand will be cut off, and nobody will arrest it as a result of cutting off your hand. What else? You stay safe. So in Nigeria, to stay safe is to see evil happening and to buy it. So when you want to, if you want to stay safe, what do you talk? I will be killed. As I'm talking here now, my life is not safe. Sorry, here is not secured. Sorry to tell you that. So many journalists have been killed in Nigeria for just talking what is right. And by the time you want to step out of the studio, you are shot dead. And the killer is also will not be dressed. So for me, what happened on the day of the team was
let me pause here as we open the phone lines now. Please, at this point, we're going to open the phone lines for those who want to reach us via that platform. You see the numbers right there on the screen. The numbers are 2+234 9166 587355. I take it once again. +234 9166 587355. Please, when you call, straight your name and the location where you're coming from, and please keep the conversation very, very civil, because we're discussing for enlightenment, for reorientation, and we want your contribution strictly. Don't make any unsubstantiated claims that you cannot really defend. And so, let me say this, Sir Ernest. Let me take you on this. Now, not less than 9 persons. Some the figures vary from rather. Not less than 9 persons lost their lives on the 18th of March because of the election. Sorry, let us just take this call. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Okay, my name is Chiwabala. I'm from Port Harcourt.
Okay, your contribution, sir.
Yes, let me appreciate you for this wonderful discussion, for having a critical, reflection on the 2018 March election to the governorship and House of Assembly. And today, this election, the just concluded election, because INEC has played its own role in ensuring that there is a peaceful, credible election. I think the problem is on the part of the citizen. The problem is on the part of the citizen. The violence that we recorded, is it INEC that unleashed the violence? The issue of even reading going to manipulate, is it INEC that introduced this? It is on the part of the citizen. And this is a civil society organization. Look, they have very important role to play. Because INEC talked about the recruitment of adult staff. Those of them that have integrity, those of them that have values, should also appoint adult staff and keep things straight. It is not at the end of every election we will begin to criticize. At the end of every election we will begin to criticize. Let us be part of, let us involve in the process and try as much as possible to keep things straight. So let us not, it is not at the end of every election we begin to begin to play INEC. We must change our attitude. We must change our attitude. Citizens must change their attitude.
Hello, sir. You have made your. I think you have made your point. We are going to. Hello. I think you have made your point. We have heard you. Thank you for your contributions. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Before that call came in, I was going to say that no fewer than 9 persons lost their lives.
11.
Okay. I know the figures are not very. They are
some also unreported.
Yeah, unreported. So. What does that portend for River State? Now, we're talking about River State here. I know it happens all over the country. We're talking about what does it portend for the state?
You see, when there are no consequences, this circle of violence will continue. Now, if you cast back your mind in 2015, 2019, we had all this similar. In fact, in 2019, in Abonima, over 200 people were killed. I was there. I escaped just in whiskers. And there were no arrests. There were no prosecution. And so people felt, oh, we can get away with it. So let's go on that trajectory. Now, until the government is ready and willing to apply consequences for this kind of...
I'm sorry, let's just take this call. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Your name and your location, please.
My name is Eli Stapa, calling from Port Harcourt.
Yes. Yeah, your contribution, sir.
Yeah.
We're listening, yeah.
For me, we're doing a postmortem of the last election, the governor and the state assembly elections.
Yeah.
I want to say that IMEABA and the security agency did not do well. Most of the problem we had in the election was caused by IMEABA and the security agency. I give you an example. It's like a black war. In where I monitor, I observe in the election. The registers were mixed up.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Continue, sir.
Yes, I said it was like a planned program. Like one of their guests take there. When I registered all materials of other units or local government was brought to Ghana. In where I monitored, somewhere in Android was it. The registers, they are mixed up. So it took them time because people cannot vote. It took them time to even rectify it. By the time they finished the maybe getting the register, started voting, there was so much confusion. After people voted, before counting of the results, sorting and counting, people came and carried away all the result sheets and the paper, and the results are all there. And I know that people reported to INEC and they said, go to court. They declared the result and said, go to court. INEC and security agencies. And I tell you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. They have made your.
Security agencies.
Hello, sir. You have made your point, sir. We have to go now for want of time, sir. Thank you for your point. Your point is clear. So, why our time, time is of essence now. So we have to be a little bit, on the fast lane now. What does that portend for the state?
Because we have a generation of youths that are watching, and what they watch, what they are seeing, register more to them than the advice that we give to them. Rivers State should have been, in terms of its economic activities and also in terms of its political maturity. But what we're saying is that we are not taking advantage of our diversity to build on it, because one individual or group of individuals just feel that they have to hold the entire state to ransom. What happened in this 18th March election is so terrible. Terrible in the sense that those areas where you think that for assistance were the areas where we are running away from during the elections. And we can't continue in this narrative. There has to be a paradigm shift from the way our elections are being conducted. This winner takes all mentality is part of the reason why we're having this kind of desperation whenever we have this cycle of elections. And then there must be consequences. There must be sanctions.
There must be consequences. We just you made a point there. Now, Sir ENE-AWAJI, I want to take you on this question, but I will go back, to take comments from our viewers that are following us. Now, there was a widespread allegations of, cutting away of materials, and all of that. Destruction of material, cutting away of materials, and all of that. But one would expect that with the introduction of the beavers machine that we are using, all such areas, snatching of ballot forces, cutting away, all such areas will be cancelled. But to our amazement, results were, submitted, and those results were accepted. But before you react to that question, please just hold it. Let us, take some comment from our viewers, and then I'll come back and then you react to those questions. Okay, we have Boma Amadi here. You're watching live with us. Blessing Jumbo, thank you for streaming live with us. Rosemary Abiad, you're streaming live with us. Thank you. This is from Bridget Idemio. True democracy requires active participation of citizens in the process. The reaction of citizens show that They are disappointed in the process, especially with the conduct of the general election. Thank you for your thoughts there, Bridget. This is from Peter Ikabie. In this year's general election, we all expected the introduction of the bimodal voters aggregation system, BVAS, and election result viewing portal, IREV. But what we saw was the contrary. Thank you, Peter Ikabie, for your thoughts there. Doris Omako, thank you for streaming live. Samuel Ashebad is streaming live with us. Thank you very much. You're streaming live. Why Kana Command? The management of the election from the Electoral Commission was in shambles across the large part of the country. Electoral Commission officials turned up late, sometimes hours and hours late. So people, so people couldn't vote until in the afternoon. Also, results, didn't reflect what transpired at the various polling units. Thank you very, very much for your comments there. Charles William Obara, you're streaming live with us. Thank you very much. Christiana Omar, you're streaming live. Ifi Amusiaji is streaming live. So this is from Charles Obara. Credible, peaceful election don't just come within a twinkle of an eye. It takes a gradual process. Nigeria is in the process of getting it right. Let's be resolute about it. Thank you very much for your comment there. Brownie Anthony, you're streaming live with us. Thank you. This is also from Waikana Command. Successive elections conducted in the country have produced questionable results due to compromised process and demand prosecution for deterrence sake. Thank you with us. So, ENE-AWAJI. Yes, it is like I said, there was widespread ballot box snatching, cutting away of materials and all of that. But to the amazement of everybody, in each of all these units, results were submitted and accepted.
Fine. You see, when laws are not obeyed in a country, things will not be done in the right way. What is the duty of law? Is to guide our conduct that will be contrary to the public behavior. But since we don't obey the law, do you think we can get it right? I'm not concerned. Let me tell you for free. I'm entitled to opinion. This election, the election of 2023, by virtue of the conduct, is not different from the one of 19, maybe when I was not born. It's not different from the one of 1955 when I was not born. It's not even from the one that maybe any there was an election in 1961 I was not born. There was no difference in terms of animalistic behavior. Let me tell you something, just like politicians everywhere in the world contest election to win it by all means. Not even in America. Sorry. Rigging is part of election, but in a way, by virtue of the law, you can see what this happened in America. On the 6th January last year, there was a breakdown of law in America when Donald Trump was in office. As we are talking now, they are still not sleeping. Maybe they will just give a kind of pardon. They will use the law of the land to jail Donald Trump as rich as he is and as a former president. Can you do it in Nigeria? You can't do it in Nigeria. So what we are seeing today is our behavior to our laws. Like I said initially, that by virtue of the law of INEC, the so-called 2022 amended Electoral Act, INEC chairman supposed to have resigned honorably.
Absolutely.
It's not. See, I don't need to go to school.
Absolutely.
I don't need to go to Harvard. I don't need to go to Cambridge to study human conduct.
Thank you, sir.
INEC has gone against the expectations of Nigeria. That's why I said, I've told you, as I'm talking here, I will not blame politicians. But everywhere in the world, even in America, politicians also indulge in the various activities to win election. I know I'm saying Xi Jinping of China don't win election. It's only free and fair. But the conduct must be regulated by the umpire based on the law guiding them. But in Nigeria, what do you see?
Thank you, sir. Now, comrade, let's say this. Now, looking at the total accredited, and valid votes, would you say that this, at the outcome of this election, this recent, the 18th election, is a reflection of the people's wish?
You keep saying,
So that's it. No?
you keep saying the outcome of the election. I said there was no election because it was not done as election. Ballot boxes were snatched. Police accompanying politicians to snatch ballot box. INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu was busy sending SMS to returning officers across the 36 states on what and who to announce as the elected person. It is also very clear that the professor,
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Can you validate? Can you validate this claim?
the returning officer.
No. Since you cannot validate.
So let me say who said this.
Okay.
I want to, and you will just allow me make my point. The returning officer in Enugu State, the professor, the PC of Michael Okpara University, made it clear on air after declaring a winner in Enugu State. She said, and I quote, "I received several messages, directive from the INEC national chairman, but I want the will of the people to take place."
Okay.
She said so, and I read based on her comment. She wanted the will of the people to take place. That's what she said. That alone, that was how we were able to know that even the INEC chairman never sit back, even when he was done with declaring a winner for the presidential election. Come to the vote that was used to declare some winners. Like I said before, how do you declare a winner in a polling unit where there was no conduct of election? And I also make a case study. In EMOHA, the INEC office in EMOHA was broke the fence between the INEC office and the chairman office, the local council, was broke down, and there was a penetration from the INEC, the council, but the local government council, down to the INEC office. And this whole thing was actually trending all around the video. The police refused to switch into action. We have a commissioner of police in charge of the election. When this whole information came out, the information was glaring and very obvious before the eyes of the people. Chidi Lloyd, the EMOHA local government chairman, make that situation possible for the rigging in EMOHA. In Ahoda, somebody was shot dead in Ahoda, all in the name that he was trying to ensure a credible election and also to see how he can defend a situation that was going wrongly. Instantly, he was shot dead. And before the eyes of security agency, up till now, what the police have said is that they have launched an investigation to that process. Now, outside the Moha, in Obiako just here, on Saturday night, I drove down to Obiako local government. Just in front of the council, I parked my car opposite the council because there was a road diversion because of the security presence at that place. And one of the staff came out and said he cannot continue in what was going on. That what is going on is thumb printing. Behold, there was security presence all around the gate. You were questioned, you were interrogated before you can penetrate that gate. Meanwhile, what was going on inside the council was thumb printing, busy thumb printing. Someone made a confession. At the right time, if I'm invited, if I'm asked, because I asked him if he can actually say this before every other person, and he said yes. He made a confession that as he was coming out, he couldn't bear the thumb printing that was there. That's in EMOHA local, that's in the Obiako. Then let's go to Ikude local government. Ikude local government was even the worst. What happened to the Ikude local government? At Ozobaye, in some communities in the Ikude local government, there was a town crier going around the communities like it is known that nobody, if you know you are not coming to vote for the PDP candidate, please don't come out. This was the first time a kind of situation happens. At Ogunabari here, and Ogoni was shot down at Ogunabari. And Ogoni was shot down, and what was his offense? His offense was because he voted against PDP. That was just his offense. Instantly, he was shot down. His body was live dead before security agency, and nothing happened to it. In the other words, 7 here in Port Harcourt. What happened? I have the video here. A particular young man from my community, just because he was an agent of the SDP was brutalized, was beaten blue-black because he was an agent to SDP. This guy was beaten to an extent that as we speak, he's still undergoing treatment. I have a video of that report here with me. Now, at that point, almost all the 23 local government, a lot of this was the same scenario. In Andoni local government, somebody was shot dead. In Boni, somebody was declared missing. At Alu, somebody was declared missing. In the 23 local government area of Rivers State, the entire process was not credible. Yet, there was someone that declared the winner. Unfortunately, even the person that was declared the winner was also imposed upon himself. He was also imposed upon his own self by the person that was sending him to go and contest. Let's be open. Governor Years of Ezomon, the governor of Rivers State, imposed the ambition of contesting for governor of Rivers State on Simalai Fubara. Simalai Fubara, in one of his statements, said he was not prepared for this election. He also made it clear that if he knew he was going to contest for this election, that he would have prepared 20 years ago, that if he had knew he was going to contest. That's what Simalai said. In one of the arguments that happened between Simalai Fubara and Governor Yusuf Wike, there was a video and a picture trending within a birthday that some political gladiators in Rivers State attended. And Simalai Fubara showed a picture to Governor Yusuf Wike and said, His Excellency, this is how I think we should have been acting in the state because of the kind of harmony and love that was expressed by those that attended that birthday party. Instantly, when Yusuf Wike shut him down and quoted him like a small boy. This is the same person you want to come, ask to represent or become the state administrator. Now leave Yusuf Wike. Let's now go at the result from the different points and make it clear here.
Let me stop you here. Now, excuse me, sorry, sir. I will give you time. Sorry, sir. Now, the battleground has been shifted to the judiciary, which is an integral part of the democratic process. What are our expectations, sir? Let me start with you. What are our expectations?
For me, I would advocate for an open court sessions. Let the media be allowed to broadcast these tribunal activities. That way, the judiciary will be able to free themselves from the question mark integrity that they have right now, from the top, Supreme Court down to this level. So if the judiciary wants the people of this state and the people of this country to take them serious, they should allow the media to have a live coverage of every of the activities. That way, we will start the healing process. That way, Nigerians will begin to believe that, yes, now that consequences and sanctions have been applied, other activities that are going to follow will definitely be more civil than the way it turned out. That's my view.
Okay, you wanted to say something at this point because I need to
the
take
issue
this.
of I monitor election and I also investigate what is happening in Andoni. From my best knowledge, no killing. From my best knowledge, I just came back from Andoni also on Thursday, which was yesterday. No killing, because I have to ask. No killing in Andoni. I'm not saying that they will know what you have said in terms of also trying to hijack. Those ones are common, but for now, no killing in Andoni.
No. But Mr. Njalbara was shown like the way the civil defense and all that.
I said I confirm. I am not saying those things that the issue of
Can I comment, sir?
snatching, but the issue of killing.
Can I comment, sir?
Okay.
You see, election reports sometimes might be digged and buried immediately. Now, it's just like in a case of protest, where you're protesting against a government and there was a shootout, like the case of the ENE-AWAJI. The number of deaths that was recorded is different from the number of deaths, is different from the number of deaths that was publicized.
I agree with you.
The reason was just because, one, there was this system that was used. When they shoot, they use water to clear the entire blood from the surface of the earth, and you won't be able to trace any death at that point. In Ogunabari, why you were able to be sure of the detail, because there was an online report immediately. That was why. Now, let me go. Are you aware that in Ogoni 2 persons was killed?
Yes, I'm aware.
Why? How did it get to? If the reason sometimes some of these things, before you can say, I will suggest, please, after the studio, once we come out of the studio, I will personally want to give you a name and a family for confirmation. At this point, please, let's raise the argument.
I'm not arguing.
I will give you a family for consultation. Thank you very much.
I spent 3-4 days in Andoni to ask about violence.
No, to the best of your ability, the most you can find, that is what you're saying. Now, at this point, let me say this, sir. Let me say this. The huge amount of money spent to procure the divers and even to fund INEC. Can we say it was justified in these 2023 general elections?
Like I said, this is the time for us to start auditing ourselves, which is the post-mortem we're doing right now. INEC was given over 300 billion. INEC has to be audited, and it has to be transparently done. The reason is because this technology is not a rocket science. You and I have phones, and these phones, 5 years, 10 years, children are manipulating it without reading the manuals. So why would we have high-tech generation at this moment, and yet we are talking about these trivial things about beavers and whatever? Go to Ogunabali, Gary's in the river, and see illiterates manipulating sophisticated phones. And then you spend over 300 billion, and you can't justify the functionality of beavers, functionality of INEC. Come on. I mean, we've passed that stage. So, for me, there has to be an audit of INEC, both at the federal and at the state levels. Because it's not only what government has approved. We have NGOs, foreign NGOs, that make donations that were not even captured. So where are all those monies into? So I think that once we start this process of sanctioning malfeasance, sanctioning this act of deliberate misrepresentation of processes that have already been captured in our electoral laws as implemented, then we will not come out of this narrative. So sanctions must be there.
Yes, our time is fast spent. Our time is fast spent. Comrade, let me see. Looking at the 2023 general, where are you going to place? Because I don't want to use the word that involves. Where can we, the INEC, vis-a-vis other electoral bodies, in the world?
Well, I think if I should rate INEC, I will rate INEC 0. I will give them 1%. I will give them 2%. I will give INEC 0, and I will request for the immediate prosecution of the INEC National Chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu. I will not end there. I will also INEC commissioners across the 36 states to be immediately prosecuted. I don't also end there. I also want the IG and its IG itself to be prosecuted, because IG was also a partner in this situation. All the men, commissioner of police that was deployed to different states, came from the IG across the 36 states. And I'm quite sure there was none of the activities or the antecedents of the Nigerian police that was not happening under the nose of the IG. The IG had what it takes to have stopped the process, but never stopped the process, rather enjoyed and encouraged the process. I also want to, at the same time, stop accuse our government officials and President Muhammadu Buhari that he has actually failed Nigerians, because we were expecting that since we could not record any massive development, you could not record any development that could say this is what the president has actually done as an impact within his 8 years of being in office as a president. Since he has failed, for the first time he was going to conduct a credible election as a yardstick or as a pedigree to prove his integrity that he was known for. But unfortunately, the President Muhammadu Buhari lost his integrity on the conduct of Nigeria election. I also want to continue by saying the Nigerian army, in their own way, also failed. Because we were thinking the first thing ahead of the Nigerian army was that they made a press briefing in Rivers State saying that the Rivers State government is men. We were thinking that this governorship election, the Nigerian army will actually make sure that they prove that point, because there was a press briefing emanating from the Nigerian army accusing Governor of inducement. But unfortunately, they were also part of the crime. They were also part of those that actually did it. So what I want to do, I want to call on the international community, I want to call on the world, I want to call on those that mean well for Nigeria to come out and put their hand in that. Make sure the international community come out and then make sure they can be able to penalize all those that was responsible for kind of this level of election. When first, their penalty should also be deprived from visiting.
Thank you, sir. At this point, we're going to round up the conversation. I just want to know. I know the time is fast spent. It's time bound. Our time is fast spent. Sir, just one minute. Take 1 minute. A word, to the viewers. Just look at the camera. A word, please. Let's just take turns. So,
Nigerians, we are going to make this country great again. We need to be resilient, we need to be optimistic, and we need to begin to work together, irrespective of our tribe, tongue, religion. And this 2023 is the turning point from all the shenanigans that we have been experiencing in our general elections. Thank you, and God bless.
Just last word, 1 minute.
I want to say that
Please.
no foreigner will come and build this country. International community, they will just laugh at us. In any society, in any country in the world, the citizens are the strongest force that will change the narrative. So I pray that we need to have a new vision. If things are going wrong, we don't even need to wait for labor. The masses should come out without fear of favor, without any trace of ethnicity or political inclination or religious aspect, and come out and say this is wrong. Like what INEC has done in that society, people should troop out and say come down. Like what is happening in Cambodia.
Just a minute.
So I want to say it is in our hand to change this country. No foreigner can change this country for us.
Just a minute.
Thank you very much. I want to send a message to the youth out there to also let Nigerians to contribute their quota to see how they can go to make the needed change. Secondly, let's come that enough is enough. We cannot continue to live in a situation whereby some political gladiators will deceive us just to have their way. And to those that are being used for election thuggery, try to always ensure that their children are part of the thuggery. Always ensure that the amount, the peanut they give you, you throw it back to them at their face, because what they give you in 1 day cannot be compared to what they eat in 8 years. Please say no to election thuggery, our youth, and then think of how we can say enough is enough to our political gladiators. Thank you, my God.
Viewers, on this note that we round up today's River State Dialogue, I want to use this, platform to appreciate our discussant here, Sir Ernest. We thank you for your presence. We're not taking it for granted at all. ENE-AWAJI, thank you for your robust contributions. They are a vibrant contribution.
I appreciate.
Yeah, our comrade, maybe we thank you for your wonderful contribution.
Thank you.
Those statistics in your heads that you're taking from local government to local government. If I leave you will take from 1 to 23. Well, thank you so much. You're indeed doing the job passionately, as I can see. I also want to use this medium to quickly appreciate the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Dr. Kababari, who has given us this platform to do what we are doing here. And this thank you will not complete if I don't remember our own Barrister Young Ayatamano, who has tirelessly made sure that this program run unhindered Friday, every Friday. It will interest you to know that we are above the 100 episode and we are going far, hitting the 150 episode, and we're running seamlessly. All is because of his passionate effort he has put in. This appreciation will not complete if I don't appreciate the man who is always behind the camera, quiet and seamless. Nobody knows, but without him, I tell you, this program would go nowhere. There's no other person down there. We call him the programmer. Mr. Arole Tenbricks, is the studio director and is the HOD ICT department in NOA River State. Sir, we thank you so much. The passion and the zeal with which you sit behind the camera and be doing this work, we say thank you. And I want to thank you, viewers out there, everybody that contributed today. We're not taking it for granted. I can see the message are still coming, but we're not able to take it. Not because the message are not important, and not because they are not good enough to be taken, but we are time bound. Next time is another time we'll take. Until we come your way next time, next week, same time. And please note this, that there is always living today and living for tomorrow. Now, we're living Nigeria's elections is all about the future. It's all about the unborn generation. Ask yourself, what role did I play in this election? Did I kill? Did I maim? Did I suppress? Or was I one of those people who are working tirelessly to make sure that we have, a system that our children can be proud of? Ask yourself that question. It's a food for thought. God bless you. Until we meet next week. Bye.